Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Why Ukraine live stream. Today, for the first time ever, we're going to see how this goes. We are streaming on Twitter. I refuse to call it X. I call it Twitter. How is everybody today? Miriam, thanks for coming. Philippe, it's great to see you. Anna, Real Dave Seaman, lots of people here. Kenneth, I'm glad you're here. And Mitch, it's fantastic. People are checking in. So, yeah, I haven't done a real live stream in a while. Michelle, thank you very much for coming. I haven't done a live stream in a little while, and if you guys didn't know why, I was in a place that I can't tell you about. I can't tell you where I was. And as a result, I can't tell you where I was, and I can't tell you who I met with. It's a little bit difficult. Suffice it to say, Mr. Squiggle, Shere Khan, Michelle, thanks for coming. You guys aren't late. I was late, guys. So I spent the day with a drone team on the front, or let's say near to the front line. Specifically, when I say drone team, I want to specifically say I got to tour a drone laboratory, a secret drone laboratory. And I'm going to, east of Rohan, thank you, Real Dave Seaman. In fact, I'm going to I'm going to refer to the place where I was, since we like to use Tolkien themes here. I'm going to refer to the place that where I was as Ithilien. If you don't know where Ithilien is, here I will show you on a map. Yeah, we can look at a map of Ithilien. Let's see. How about Ithilien map? There we go. That should be good. Okay, so just to give you guys an idea. Oh, here's a better one. So here's try it this way. No, I don't want that. There we go. Full screen, come on. All right, fine. So here's Mordor over here on the right in the east. This red area here, that's Ithilien. All right, that's where I was, and I will just refer to it. No, I did not go to Isengard, Michelle. Thank you. Yeah, no, I did not. So if we say that. Let's try that. There we go. There's a nice big map. So if we say that this is Ukraine and this is Russia, okay, Ithiliens, and here's the Dnipro, the great river going down the middle. Okay, Ithiliens right close. All right. And, formerly occupied territory. And yes, I did see part of the drone videos from Brandon. But guys, I got to tell you, I've got drone videos of my own. Okay, now these are the ones I can show you. I have more, but these are the ones that are approved. I have to do some light editing. I had to have the ZSU guy take a look at it. And so, are you guys ready to see the inside of a secret drone lab? Here we go. I'm sure all of the orcs watching are waiting for this too. So yeah, here we go. I'm going to open it up in Google Chrome. There you go. So this is it. And so here they are. I should explain a little bit about what's happening here. They get these drones. These drones are given to them, and we're talking like a lot of drones. Okay. Let's just choose a number. Let's say 100. Yeah. And the problem is that these drones, they need to be modified. Yeah, lots of tiny tools, and lots of soldering. As you will see, that's a soldering gun down there at the bottom. And this is underground in like a basement. And so there, it's kind of like in a dark room underground with just like a little bit of sunlight coming from the one corner, like how basement windows are. And pretty interesting here because every drone has to be modified in some way, let's say. And in this case, if we just skip ahead here a little bit, they on an antenna. So these drones come without antennas, okay? And you may ask why. And the reason for that is that they run at different frequencies, So if you know anything about Wi-Fi, I don't want to get too technical here, but you have 2.4 gigahertz. Yeah, it looks so small, right? These are 7-inch drones or 10-inch drones. I can't remember. They had just stacks and stacks and stacks of them, and they've got a group of guys who just do this all day, So each drone, depending on the mission, needs to have different things added to it. So, like, different antennas have different frequencies, different ranges, and depending on the electronic warfare situation, depending on the distance of the mission, depending on the amount of weight that they have to carry. Also, so I want you to take a look at this, and I got permission to show this here. So this is a. Are these Ukrainian drones produced like the ones we bought? Yes. Yeah. They're not that exact brand that we bought, but very similar. These have slightly larger motors. So they're meant to carry a slightly heavier weight, but it's every mission is different. The drones are different. Now, so check this out though. So this is a detonator. Yes. Okay. And that's very interesting. Barfly Chef, Ukraine needs parts probably more than the drones, is what Kanash, Alex Kanash was saying. And that's exactly right. That is exactly the information that I got. That's very interesting, completely independently. So that is the main reason why I made this trip, was to go to the laboratory and literally get a list of what they need. And I'm not going to show you guys this whole list, but you can see over on the left-hand side of the screen. You can see the basic outline of the list. And so these are all components that, for various purposes and various missions, need to get added to these drones, basically. Again, depending on the state of the electronic warfare that they have to get around. Yeah, let's see. According to, that's interesting. Real Dave Seaman. According to the drone folks at Brandon's video, the price of one donated Mavic can get them parts to repair around 15 of them. Yeah, it's very interesting. We have this almost parallel information. So I asked these guys, I said, so I was already planning on that. This is to get the list of parts that they need, because each of these drones have to be modified, in some way, and they go through for all types of various parts. Oh, hey Cheryl, thanks for coming, by the way. They go through about like $5,000 worth of parts every single month, roughly speaking, and these soldiers pay for that out of their own pockets. Okay, so that's a large. That's they obviously they split it between the whole entire drone team, but that's a lot. And so just like, for instance, this is the next video that I can show you here.
Yeah.
So this, there, we can close that one. So this is a box of one type of antenna that they need to use. They call these cherries, okay? And this is, roughly what they go through in a month of these. And we can scroll down here. And wait, is that the one? Okay. Yeah, so these are real cheap, though. $15, $13. With shipping and handling it, once you add it all up, it probably comes closer to 20. But so this is what. So you guys know I have this. I have this website here, right? And right now, I did have a lot of different things on this website. It had all kinds of stuff, toiletries, and you name it. Had all kinds of things here. Now I've just got tourniquets, and the reason I did that is because I was preparing for this stuff, to to put this on there. And the way this is gonna work is, it's gonna, right now, over the weekend, all I'm gonna do is get these items that you see on the list on the left hand side here. I'm gonna get those. I need to find the pricing information, so I'm gonna add those all onto this website, okay? And then you will be able to buy them for this specific unit in Ithilien. And you'll get to see them getting used. So I don't know. I think it's awesome. This is what I've been working on for a long time. And the way I'm going to have this set up is, so I've got a lot of souvenirs from Ukraine, tchotchkes. Yeah. But they're cool. Okay. I've also got, we're raffling. We have a raffle, by the way. This is a completely separate thing. We have a raffle for a drone for the International Legion. And by the way, I want to be clear that this. All right, I can close that map. The unit that we are helping, this same part of the International Legion is attached to that unit. Okay. Wizard of Oz, thanks for coming. Good afternoon. So we're really helping, the same group of guys. Okay, I want to make that kind of clear because Real Dave Seaman was mentioning, IKEA needs to straight up start making drones, at least like flat pack drone frames, So anyway, Real Dave Seaman was mentioning, hey, I'm getting confused about what units we're helping and where they are, and it's very confusing. And I want to apologize to you for that because it's difficult for me to balance, OPSEC and I wanted to, like, right here on this says support Alpha Company 1st Battalion, International Legion, and that's what we started out doing, was the 1st Battalion and the 4th Battalion, and now we've kind of moved on to some units, but as we get more and more into this, I have to be more and more careful about what I say and what I show you. And it's kind of crazy that that I just showed you this, if you think about it. This is the cherry antenna close up. They're not super big. Of course.
So we have
and then I can
which we use to select antenna.
Let's see here. I can show you what else. Oh yeah, this is important. So these are all the antennas that they're using right now. So you got 4 different antennas, and then you got the controllers for the antennas. There's just a bunch of different technical parts that I did show this to someone, and I said, don't share this information. I'm not ready to share it yet. And they said, I don't even know what I'm looking at. Yeah, the OPSEC I'm not telling is the most important part. It sucks, all right, and I have to find a balance to that. And I'm one. Philippe, can we buy different frequencies antennas? Yes, that will be exactly what you will be able to do. So they need a certain number of these antennas, however many they are, and that's how many you will be able to buy. Okay, for this one particular unit. And it's nice because it maybe if you only have 15 or 20 bucks, but you want to help Ukraine, some people, I think we definitely, we're going to buy this drone. I want to be clear about that. And we are going to keep on doing drone raffles for sure. But for some people, it's more satisfying to be able to, point to one thing and say, look, I bought this thing. I provided this one thing. I provided this one antenna, or this, this controller for antennas. I will have full descriptions of these, by the way, on the site. I mean, they're all, by the way, another thing I want to make mention of, a lot of these parts unfortunately come from China, but to the extent that we can source them from the United States, we are doing so. Like, I'm directly working with the ZSU on finding exactly which parts can work that are not from China, to minimize that dependency. And why why help your enemies when you don't need to? Yeah, and we could do that. Real Dave Seaman. That's that's a very good point. We'll be doing drone part raffles instead of full drones. That's a fantastic point. Yeah, Shere Khan, thank you. After the war, you can fill in all the details. Yeah, I will regale you with stories when this war is done. So, and I want to be clear. I also because I want to be able to talk about this drone team and where they are, and so I'm just going to have to start using code words. Okay, that's what I'm going to have to start doing. So, and so I'm just going to, so that I don't accidentally say where I was, I'm going to give it a name, and the name that I'm going to give it is Henneth Anun. There you go. That is the city where I was. And I asked the guys, I said, so I feel like since I can't say what your unit is, I need to be able to say, I have to have your name for you. I can't just say the unit, because I'll end up blurting it out accidentally. So, so they said, well, we have a name, and I'm going to give you that name. I'm going to tell you the name of the unit in Elvish. So because yes, Henethanun is in Ithilien. Yes, it is. If you want to look up on a map of Cholkin, you can see exactly where it is. So I'm just going to just know that I'm going to refer to the Eastern Front in general as Ithilien. South Ithilien can be like, Chasiv Yar area. Philippe, wow. Shit. You guys know too much. Yeah. Okay. So Philippe knows what I'm talking about. So the name that the unit goes by, their code name, the translation into Elvish is Ithil Ambar. Ithil Ambar. So there you are. That ought to confuse the orcs. The orcs hate Elvish, right? Yeah. So, yeah. No giving away. Hopefully, that doesn't give away too much. They actually said I could use the code name if I needed to, but I'm not going to if I don't have to. So, yeah. So, real Dave Seaman, could y'all stick to English, please? By the way, for those of you who are on the Discord server, I just want to point out that the real Dave Seaman revamped the Discord server. Okay, and he did a great job. It's exactly, I desperately needed someone to help. Really, because I make everything way more complex than it needs to be. As you guys who've been on the server might have noticed. And when I set that up, I was really just throwing spaghetti at the wall. I just didn't know what I was doing. And I just started I'm just going to create a bunch of shit and see what works. And so I really, real Dave seeming no one noticed. Yeah, nobody noticed yet. So it's okay. But hopefully now it should be a little more clear to people and more navigable. I might still sneak in some Tolkien stuff, But the most important thing is that it's usable and clear to y'all. Cheryl says Namari. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Cheryl, for throwing in some Elvish. Yeah. Yeah, Megavan and Cheryl. So yeah, this is basically, just to give you guys an idea of what a secret drone laboratory really looks like. I think I can share this one with you. Not the whole video. I still need to edit it before I share the whole video.
Ourselves.
Mhm.
So we
Yeah, there we
just,
go.
buy
So this is just, another one of these videos where they're doing work. And I mean, to me, I have 6 windows of the sunset personally. Yeah. Cheryl, you don't know, but we actually had Valinor in the server. That was the admin area, the secret admin area of the server was Valinor. But it's okay. We can add Valinor later. The point is, this work that they're doing here is, in many ways, really, and I started to realize this. It's practically just like the kind of work that I used to do when I I did circuit boards. I worked for HP. This is in the 90s, actually. It ruined my eyes. I mean, I had bad eyes to begin with, but you can imagine soldering circuit boards 10 hours a day, 4 days a week. Real Dave Seaman. It's pretty funny. This work is so familiar to me, and being a network engineer, especially as a wireless network engineer, I felt right at home. And I actually said to them, I said, like, hey, this is I totally understand this. By the end of my tour of the laboratory, they were like, hey, do you want a job? Do you want to come work for us? No joke. And I was like, that's what I said. I said, are you joking with me? And they said, no, we're hiring somebody right now, or we're looking to hire. We need somebody like you. And the rest of us we're not even network engineers. That one guy was like a what do you call it, a programmer. There's some programmers, people who had other jobs and stuff. And so I accepted a job in the ZSU. Yeah, Real Dave Seaman. Yeah, here's the problem, though. There's just one little problem, guys. And I was talking to Real Dave Seaman about this, but there was one little part that I may throw a monkey in that works, and this is pretty awful. While I was there in Henathanun in Athilian, everybody was super nice and just amazing. And I traveled first. I traveled to Kyiv. I took the Marshrutka to Kyiv, and then the train to Kharkiv. And like this past weekend in Kharkiv, it was nice, perfectly nice city. I have a bunch of videos. If those of you who are members, if you go and watch my YouTube shorts, I did a little walking tour of Kharkiv, and you'll be able to see all kinds of stuff that I got to see while I was there. Beautiful, amazing architecture and bombed out buildings. In fact, okay, let's see if I can figure out how to use my computer. I'll show you a couple, here. Wow, I have way too many windows open. My poor computer. Okay. Yeah, so. Oh, sure. Here we go. So I visited this awesome cathedral. And I mean, honestly, I don't know. Maybe it's Russian Orthodox, probably. So Real Dave Seaman had. So how about the initial reason for you going to that facility? Is that still a thing? Avoiding the problem. Well, no. So my initial reason for going to the facility, which was figuring out what parts they needed. That's these parts, okay, and I came back with this list, and I'm super happy about that. The being offered a job with the ZSU. Hello, Belle. Thank you for coming. Nice to see you. Being offered a job with the ZSU was unexpected. It has been and continues to be my goal to rejoin the ZSU, but with my back being fucked up the way it has been, I'm unable to do the kind of training that I would need to do in the International Legion. And so I asked them about that, and they were like, you think we had any freaking training? And like that, a lot of the guys working in the drone laboratory, some of them were injured. Oh yeah. Real Dave Seaman. Yes. No. You're absolutely right. This does not in any way impinge on the idea of setting up a drone laboratory here in my village and building drones, or something of that nature. In no way. In fact, they dovetail quite nicely together. But here's the problem. Okay, when I was walking in to this drone laboratory, one of the neighbors, and it's in, like I said, it's in Henathanun, and it's on the, I mean, it's a city, kind of like the outskirts of Henathanun. And unfortunately, someone heard me speaking English, and after I went inside, I'm talking about one of the civilian neighbors, told told one of the soldiers that he was going to call the Russians and tell them that they had an American. No shit. That actually happened. That fucking happened. Like what? And I mean, they were shocked. I was shocked. They kind of were like, what the hell? And remember, I mean, this is an area of Ukraine that has been occupied by Mordor, and there's still thank you, Shere Khan. That civvy needs a visit from the SBU. Ні, Cheryl. Розмовляю трохи українською. Wow, Shirkan, that happened to you in March. I'm so sorry. Yeah, and I don't know what the follow-up was on it. Basically, they went to their commander and reported it, and I hope that that person gets a visit from the ZSAU. But they, at the same time, they were like, maybe we can't hire you. I still don't know. Okay. I still pushed really hard. I sent them like my CV, which is like 4 pages long of technical CV of like my 20 plus years of computer tech work, and videos of my own drone classes that you guys, if you ever watch my shorts on YouTube, you can go back through and see the drone classes that I taught in Kyiv, drone repair, drone building, hacking. Yeah, Shere Khan, friggin' scary is what it is. Yeah, they were scared for sure. But can you imagine, like, how stupid do you have to be? Maggie, I hope he was arrested for being a traitor. Yeah, yes, Real Dave Seaman, I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, yes. Yeah, well, here's the thing, Mitch. They just moved to this location. Okay. Because they were previously even closer to the front line, and that area was, starting to get shelled, and they needed to move back a little bit to Henethanun. So if you can imagine going back to our map of Gondor, they were like closer up in here, up in the Vale of Minas Morgul, basically. And so they had to, kind of move back. And so it's pretty unexpected. It's pretty. I'm curious, Shirkan. I'd like to know more about your experience if you felt like sharing. Honestly, I don't know what I would do but can you just imagine the stupidity of just coming? I don't know. Was the guy drunk or something? Yeah, really, Seaman, I don't get why such a facility is so close to the front, to be fair. Could build them in a B zone to the joy of a cocktail and still deliver the same amount. Yeah, so that's an interesting question. Here's the deal. Like with these antennas and things, right? Electronic warfare is changing so rapidly on the front, and the missions change so rapidly that from one day to the next. Hey, Saul to the Red Earth, thank you for coming. You were surrounded by a mob when they heard you speaking English. Wow. Started by one psycho person screaming at me when she heard my language. Wow. This must have been in the East. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, oh no, it was not in the East. Really? Okay. As my experience, look, sorry, I have a fan on and I'm readjusting it. I've always had I had 3 or 4 experiences on my trip where people heard me in Lutsk. In Lutsk, really? Wow. In Lutsk, that's very surprising because the west of Ukraine is very strongly anti anti-Russian in general. And so I just, it's pretty crazy that it would be like a mob. I mean, maybe I will say that like in my village, in my village, yeah, Shirkan, this next trip I'm going to be the gray man. Well, Shirkan, I hope your next trip that we get to meet. Okay, that is my hope, that you come to my village, or I'll meet you in Kiev or something, and then I'm like the opposite of a gray man. Okay, and mob or no mob, I would have punched my way out, to be honest with you. I mean, it helps. I don't know how tall you are, but I kind of tower. I'm taller than uh most people. Oh, Philippe, that's interesting. A guy wanted money. Yeah. Let's see. Wizard of Oz. Maybe stupidly, the guy thought if the orcs actually did find out that there was an American working there, they would really target the area and wanted to stop that. It's still an absolute dick move. Yeah. No, I mean, this is too far behind the lines for that. The only thing I can say is that if he did call the send a message like to some handler in the in the Russia, given the accuracy in general of given the accuracy of Russian missiles, it'd be just as likely that this guy's house gets blown up as anything else. You know what I mean? Like, really. Real Dave Seaman, thank you very much for buying those memberships for people. Razor Raider, Andres Stepa, Eskil Olsen, Kevin B, Rockefeller. Cool names. I hope that you enjoy the show. Go now. You are free to go and watch all of. I have like a month's worth of shorts. That if you are members, you know, I don't know how other channels are with memberships and member videos, but I've really started pumping out like a lot of members only videos. If you're not a member, you will get to see them. No, I'm sorry, not videos, shorts. If you're not a member, you will get to see them. They're just on delay. And that's not because I don't like you. It's because not all of these videos, but some of the videos, it's a little bit OPSEC in the sense that I don't want to show where I am in real time, and in the past I have kind of told people like I'm going here and I'm going to meet with this unit, and I know I've done that, and I can't do that anymore. Or when I do, I need to be I just need to be careful about what I say and stuff. Which is great. I'm happy about it, but I just need to be more careful. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, guys. And so, like I said, so look for, I think, hopefully over the weekend, I'm going to add that stuff on here onto this page, and then we will, we're gonna do a drone raffle. So please donate. It's $5 for a ticket, and this flag that they're holding, which is the flag that's behind me. Okay, this flag signed by the International Legion, by the guys standing there, is the flag that you will get if you win the raffle. Okay, and last time I think we had about 50 people enter, and 50 people entered. One man won. And the painting made by Bell, amazing, beautiful painting made by Bell, which I can show you. Let's see. Now, this is for the last raffle, so you're not going to win this, but I just want to show you the amazing gift that Bell did. And I think it's worth thanking you again. Okay. Burr. Is it this one? Yes. Yeah. This here, this amazing painting. So that is on its way to Great Britain to Paul Gilbert. So yeah, pretty freaking cool. Yeah. So guys, that is not all I have for this stream. I want to talk about the news. I want to talk about what's going on here in Ukraine. There has been, oh my God, hang on. I just spilled my tea everywhere like an idiot. I'm so stupid. Okay, let's see if I can get enough Kleenexes to wipe this up. God. So I want to talk about the European elections and their effect on Ukraine. But while I do that, I'm going to not spill this tea. I almost succeeded. So everybody's talking about the European elections right now and the results. Yeah. And I think that, everybody's specifically saying that the right really won. Georgia Maloney, this bitch, the French, whatever her name is. And it looks bad. I agree. You've got Gert Wilders, the Dutch far right, really coming, gaining power in just a lot of these far right countries. And I mean, I think the worst stupid mistake that Emmanuel Macron made to call snap elections, he could, if I understand the French political system correctly, he could lose the presidency. And then, basically that this bitch, whatever her name is, I apologize. I shouldn't use that word, but I hate insulting animals. But she is, I mean, they're basically like neo-Nazi French people, I mean, it's crazy that like the French would say, "Oh yeah, we want to be neo-Nazi now." Like, what? Are you out of your mind? Right? And of course, it makes it worse that you have also the rise of the AfD. So, Germany, a AfD election. And they gained 6 seats in the European Parliament. And the AfD is basically the neo-Nazi party of Germany. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. I just realized. KKSGG asked, is there a separate link for the raffle, or do we just add a note to the genetic PayPal Buy Me a Coffee donation? You can do both. So just because I like making things extra complicated, I'm sorry, guys. So let's take a step back and answer KKSGG here, because I think everybody needs the answer to this question. So this is Buy Me a Coffee /Y Ukraine. Okay, the letter Y and the word Ukraine. And to be clear, there's a link in the description, by the way. But here's how so it's on the extras page, but let me show you that if you're just on the regular homepage, you can just simply, you can just put like raffle or drone raffle in the note here and pay $5 there. You can do that too, or you could do 5, or or make up a number, 50. Some people bought 50, okay? No joke. Or you can click on here where it says extras, and here we go. There's a you can click on it here, and it'll take you to the page where you can put $5 or $100, whatever you want in there. Okay, 2 ways to do it. Either way is fine. So I hope that's clear. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, I lost track of the text, you guys. Okay, so Mr. Squiggle says, talking about Macron, yeah, maybe this is something I don't understand. So it's good to have this. If he doesn't call it now and they lose, if he doesn't call it now and they lose, they will lose bigger if they have the election later. So they have election in 20 days or so. Le Pen may have spent all their money on the EU election. Well, okay, that's that's interesting. Okay, Really, Seaman, thank you for. I will check my inbox. You're talking in Discord, yeah. Oh, wait. We need to come up with a word that doesn't insult animals or perfectly lovely female body parts, for that matter. Yes, thank you, KKSGG. Yes. If we're talking about links, do you mean links to like the drone raffle, like this one? Okay. Yeah. So Mr. Squirrel, so Le Pen has less money to fund the campaign, while Macron has been planning this for a while. Apparently, they should be able to outspend them in messaging and try to reduce the damage if they lose. I mean, that's fair. That's 4D chess, 4D chess, I guess. That's a fair. Right, Real Dave Seaman, very good. Thank you for bringing that up. I should bring that up over here. Let's see if I can. Hopefully it'll come up on this screen. Anyway, there we go. I'll bring up Discord. Hopefully my machine won't crash. But what I really want to talk about... Okay, Discord, go away. What I really want to talk about is these elections in the context of Ukraine, because that's where it's really important. And yeah, so Real Dave Seaman sent me a bunch of links, and I will send them out to you guys. Yes, raffle to buy a drone. Yes, and that is the it's the link there. And also I will send out the invite to our Discord for those of you who want to join our Discord. Don't join if you're a troll. That's what I would say. Because we'll kick you out. But I want to talk about these elections, like I said, in the context of Ukraine, because I've been really worried, and like ATP Geopolitics and lots of people have been worried about like AFD, heavily funded apparently by Russia. The French party National Rally, heavily funded by Russia. Giorgia Meloni, whose name I do remember, from Italy, So the former head of her party, who just recently died, he was totally pro-Russia. Cheryl says, I heard Macron wants to give them a chance to show they can't govern like our MAGA right, so they'll lose in the French presidential elections 2027. Fair. That's an interesting, and that is the argument that's being made, by the way, against the AFD, that the AFD is just that they're not able to govern, because they're just a meme party, essentially, a bunch of basically like MAGA, But that can change. Yeah, thanks, Lauren. Don't join if you're a troll. Yeah, you're right. We need to come up with a better system. That's an interesting question on Discord. Is there some bot that hunts and monitors trolls and bots? That's a good question. That's something we need to look into. Yeah, just as effective as yes, I'm older than 18. Yes. Yeah, Zbot with capital Z. That's worth looking into. Yeah, I knew what you meant. I'll check it out. But yeah, so here's the thing that I would just like to say though about these parties. Let's see, EU election chart. That's what I want. Nice little chart showing like who won what, essentially. And yeah, this is useful here. So basically, everything on the right hand side is conservative. Okay, but the fact of the matter is that EPP, the Group of European People's Party, that's the largest party. They are that's von der Leyen's party. That's the main sit-ins for Sithis. That is quite a name. Yeah, I'll send the Discord link in a little bit. So the simple fact is that the center party, so the S&D, Socialists and Democrats, okay, they're a little bit on the left hand side, and also the EPP. These are the main anti-Russian parties, and of course there has been corruption even within these parties. We know about that. And yeah, Lauren has a very good point talking about anti-troll work on Discord. Yeah, we are all networked with the different communities, Georgie's and Greg Terry and ATP Geopolitics, and even, dare I say it, the Enforcer. They all do communicate, and when we get a Russian troll coming on, the lights go up, and we've had it, and we've gotten rid of and confronted trolls in that way. So, it's called Zarya. That's interesting, Mr. Squiggle. Okay, thank you for that information. We will be checking that out for sure. So the real people who are, it's not actually as big of a difference as you might expect. So this is the European Parliament for the next 5 years basically, and yeah, they have grown, they have gotten a lot more seats, but they're still not nearly in the majority. Okay, and the EPP is not going to help Russia at all. So a lot of the worry that I personally had has been, I guess is the correct term. more importantly, when we're talking about, for example, these people, okay, the AFD guys, maybe not the AFD, but at least National Rally. Marine Le Pen, there you go. I finally remembered her name. We're talking about, National Rally and Georgia Maloney. Here's the problem, right, with electing right-wing nationalists. This, and I want to make this clear, this could really, really backfire for Putin, okay? And because well, look at the Republicans in America, okay? So they were Mike Johnson, Ukraine. They were like really strongly anti-Ukraine for like 6 or 7 months. And now, look at this. Mike Johnson's going, Ukraine needs full permission to use weapons on Russian territory. So he's completely flipped. Okay? And why? Why is this? Because, and this is true, I think, in every country, conservatives are almost always the hawks. Conservatives are in almost every in almost every case are the ones who are in favor of war and in favor of building up the national defense. Like, why did people in Europe vote? Because just like in America, I'm sad to say, people don't pay attention to politics, and they especially don't pay attention to the European Parliament. Okay. And Belle, thank you very much. No, it's not off subject. I'm always constantly off subject. That is awesome that you have another painting. And we will, of course, keep on doing raffles, and that's rocking. Absolutely rocking. Thank you. But so this is gonna backfire in Putler's face, I think. So people vote when they are afraid. When people feel fear, people vote with emotions, right? They don't. Yeah. So there we go. Sit-ins for Sithis. I could tell from the Sithis that you were a right-wing nationalist. Of course, I could tell. So people, they wake up, like the day before the election, and they're like, I feel afraid. Who am I going to vote for? I'm going to vote for the person who I think is going to build up the army the most. And traditionally, that's been the right-wing people. They may know nothing about the candidates of the party. They just know conservatives want more war. I mean, that's I'm paraphrasing, I'm generalizing, I'm kind of making fun a little bit. Yeah, welcome to Why Ukraine. We're always off topic. Do we still have a topic? You will notice that like other live streams are like boom, 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 boom. And no, I'm constantly jumping. I'm reading your stuff. I'm jumping back and forth. This is probably why I don't have a lot of Russian trolls on here, because they can't follow anything. When your English is not your first language, I understand for some of you it's probably a challenge, and I apologize. Some of my Ukrainian friends and students, they're like, I try to watch your live streams, but I can't follow it. So I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. But yeah, so in America, the right wing in America, the Republicans have they've found their natural place again. They probably feel much more comfortable. It's like when you accidentally put your underwear on backwards and you're like, hey, something's not right, and you're walking down the street, and And that's really feel like starting from maybe October of last year, they had their underwear on backwards. Um, Mitch says it can be misleading categorizing people and at least not keep current, i.e., the EU elections being considered bad doesn't count for there's more Ukraine support coming from the right of late. Yes, that's exactly correct. Exactly correct. Because ultimately nationalists want they want to have their own country being strong, and I agree with, it wasn't me here saying the problem is they want to increase their own country's armies and not the AFU. But if they could just look slightly past their own nose, or maybe just go on like Google Maps sometime and see that actually Russia is not that far away. And they are, and this is where all of Russia's stuff that they're doing is really going to backfire. All of this hybrid warfare stuff that Russia's doing is really, going to backfire. Demonic ablation. I only speak English and bad English, and the real Dave Seaman says, so American, basically? Perfect. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Yeah. No, but seriously, for those of you who are watching who are from England, as I know some of you are, you guys have some crazy English too. I mean, you invented crazy English, so don't get me started on that. So anyway, this could really backfire for Putin, is what I'm saying. Because yes, you're right. These countries, they may be less reluctant. Sorry, they may be more reluctant to support Ukraine necessarily because they're like, I want to build up my own. But just looking slightly past your own nose and saying, oh, but if we make Russia fight in Ukraine, then we don't have to. Oh, now that is incredibly cynical and awful. And I actually think what's going to happen with the right wingers ultimately, and this is going to be pushed by the voters, with the exception of Germany, I think the AfD has a real problem with pro Russian, not just. I mean, I think that Giorgia Meloni has some politicians who in her party who are corrupted by Russia because of Russia's economic ties. I think Marine Le Pen has some corruption problems. Okay. But Germany is different because the Germans, particularly in Eastern Germany, okay, German support for Russia by, let's see, let's try map. No. Okay, German support for Russia by region. Map. Let's try that. Not what I'm looking for. The point is that the formerly occupied Eastern Germany, I have a bunch of like imperial, whatever. The formerly occupied Eastern Germany, in general. So we're talking about this part of Germany. It's much more rural. They, for whatever stupid reason, outside of Berlin, of course, they look back with great fondness. Oh, you have family there. Okay, yeah, Michelle. I look back. They look back with some fondness on their time as part of the the Eastern Bloc, which is crazy to me. I mean, it's why, but it's for the same reason. To be honest, for the same reason that the Russians do, perhaps, because that transition time maybe was a time of chaos. They felt, here's the thing: people love, they love it when things are easy and they don't have to make decisions, and they don't have to, they don't have to think about things. They can just go and do their job every day and basically act like children. Michelle says they've never really advanced economically. Yeah, they're far behind. So let's see. German, let's say, wealth by state, maybe. Let's see if I can find them. Yeah, here we go. Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, list of German states by GDRP. GRDP. I think that's the same. Okay. And so basically these areas here that you see that are light green, here we go. GDP per capita. These light here they have it mapped out. And so these eastern areas. Anyway, the point is that with the exception of the AfD, these right-wing parties are not necessarily going to support Russia. And I think, in fact, that what they're going to do is they're going to flip, just like Mike Johnson did, and the main part of the, yeah. So that's that. Yeah, Mr. Squiggle, I teach my students this. England was like a hodgepodge of small groups isolated by serfdom because they were tied to the land. They couldn't leave. That didn't interact much until modern times, so it kept division and accent. So you could, drive 20 miles down the road and have an accent that was just, so completely different. Yeah, Mitch, that's an interesting statement about more genetically Russian folks in the east of Germany. Maybe there's something to say about that. And I'm talking about, frankly, the mass rape of German women. Sorry to say. I don't know if that contributes or not, but yeah. Anyway, so let's move on here, because I want to talk about some pretty interesting things that have been going on. First of all, there's this. Okay, I'm gonna take this. Oh yeah, there we go. It's great. It's fantastic. So Putin, the caption for this is Putin held the G1 summit in Moscow. Pretty hilarious. So the next thing, now we know that the peace summit is happening, and or is going to happen very shortly, which is happening in Switzerland, and it'll be interesting. I'm curious what you guys think is going to come out of that. Do you think there's going to be anything come out of the peace summit? I should put up a poll. I think I will put up a poll. And by the way, while we're at it, I'm going to add in here. Here's our. For those of you who waited, thanks for waiting. Feel free to join the Discord. There we go. So now I've done that. Yeah. I'm just curious, what do you guys think is going to come out of this peace summit? I mean, is there anything? Like what's the point? What's the freaking point of this peace summit is what I want to know. It's kind of so the second thing I want to talk about here is Armenia. So Armenia just officially pulled out of the CSTO. So the CSTO is like is like the pseudo NATO that Russia set up, that basically proved itself to be completely ineffective and could not protect Armenia from Azerbaijan. You know, and so it's very interesting that this happened, because at almost the exact same time, and let me remind you that these two countries are very close to each other, and this has a direct effect. I think this will have a direct effect on this war. So we have Georgia here and Armenia, and I know there's at least one person in our group who is not Georgian but regularly goes to Georgia, and so I think it's very important to take a look at this article here, which, if you didn't know and you weren't paying attention, pretty interesting. So the Georgian Dream is preparing to basically normalize relations with Moscow. Now, it's important to remember that 20% of Georgia is occupied by Russia. Okay. But they've got this corrupt Georgian government that kind of snuck in, and wolf in sheep's clothing. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here, because first of all, I don't recall off the top of my head if they have actually passed the what they call the Russian law. That's what all the protests were happening about. But I really see this. I very strongly believe that this is going to go the other way. In other words, this is my prediction. I think that the Georgian Legion is going to pull out of Ukraine. That's what I think is going to happen. And they're going to take, I don't know how many people they have. I think they have about 500 members, and 500 Georgian members, and maybe another 500 foreign members. Like, they're about 50% foreign. They are actually part of the International Legion. I have no information on this, but I shouldn't be surprised if, as it looks like it's going to, when shit hits the fan in Georgia, now you've got at least a strong core of, and yes, in the short term, Shirkan, it would be awful for the Georgian Legion to pull out of Ukraine. And I'm not saying I have any inside information on this, but at all. But if it happens, don't freak out. Maybe it's already happened, because I haven't heard much about the Georgian Legion since February, to be honest. I don't know. I was on their Twitter a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't see anything that was like really specific updates, But it would make a lot of sense if they secretly kind of filtered back into Georgia, and again, I have no OPSEC on this, guys. I don't have any connections, but if they were kind of in here setting up training camps, essentially, and organizing and keeping their heads down, and keeping their heads way down for when shit hits the fan, because I think that's what's going to happen. And again, this is a situation where I think that Putin's gamble, just like he is gambling that getting a bunch of right-wingers into power is going to help him, I think, he's putting this gamble forward, and I think it's going to blow up in his face, because Georgia has, so the Georgian Dream Party, it's basically one guy. Okay. And that dude, let's see what his name is. I'll have to look up Georgian oligarch. It's just, Bidzini Ivanishvili. You know, there he is. That's what he looks like. Okay. Well, guess what? You kill this one guy, and the whole thing falls apart. And I mean, he is trying to put his his son and family members into all different parts of power of the government. But at this point, I think that this guy is so unpopular that I don't think it's going to take much, Right. And so, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the possibility that it would happen. Don't freak out if it does. Basically. That's all I'm saying. So there's a lot more, guys. I have to tell you, there's a lot more that I want to talk about. I haven't done a live stream like this in a real one in almost 2 weeks, and so much has happened, and I just can't possibly keep up with the news. And actually, to be honest, there's been a lot of good news. So I will be doing a live stream on Saturday and Sunday, where I will get to some more of these topics that things that have just happened recently. One big one that I want to address right now, and I don't know if I've talked about it before, but Ukraine to test homegrown guided bombs, quote, in a few weeks. Okay, so now remember, we had the GLSDB, which was made which was made by Saab and mostly Boeing, I believe. So they were taking old artillery shells and attaching rockets to them and glide. So these were ground launched small diameter bombs. Okay, that's why they're called GLSDB. But here's the thing. Ukraine, in how much time? I mean, when did they start working on this? We don't even know. But they're basically going to have the same thing, but Ukraine has developed it on its own, and they've, and it's going to be ready in a few weeks. I mean, think about how that makes Boeing. Well, I know that Boeing is looking really bad all the way around. Okay, on just every level, they just cannot get a win. So it's created by Boeing and Saab, but as my understanding, it's mostly Boeing working on this. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. And these systems failed, basically. So it says the U.S. government truncated the usual testing requirements to expedite the weapon systems acquisition. As a result, the weapon was produced as quickly as possible, and it didn't work for multiple reasons, including the EMI, that's electronic warfare. It was too complex, and it didn't beat the Russian electronic warfare. So they couldn't have alternate systems, and you're telling me that Ukraine, which is fighting a war on its heels and with no budget, yes, thank you, Shere Khan, Ukraine could take bubblegum wrappers and popsicle sticks and build a weapon out of them. Yes, so it's amazing. It's great news. It's amazing, great news. It's gonna be the I don't. It doesn't say exactly. It doesn't say what size these bombs are going to be, but they're proximal to the Russian Fab, like Fab 500 bombs. It's great, amazing news. So yeah, that's just one thing that and I want to cover, and I think I have a lot of other stuff. But yeah, my power's going to go out in about probably in about 10 minutes. So I think that I'm going to call it there for today. And just to remind everyone to please, if you want to help buy a drone, go to buymeacoffee/whyukraine. And if you'd like to enter into that drone raffle, it's $5. And you can you can go to this page here, or you can just go into the main Why Ukraine page. And you can just type in there drone, or drone raffle, or raffle drone, and you'll be entered into the drone raffle. And I'm sorry I don't have off the top of my head what we're at right now. In order to buy a drone, we need about $500. So that is the situation. And then also, I really want to thank those of you. Just lastly, thanks, Salt. Yeah, you guys are important to me. Really, no joke. And I really want to thank you, those of you who last weekend. I don't know if all of you saw this, but I went to Henethanoon in Athilian without my credit card, without my Ukrainian credit card. Okay, and I had about 800 grivnas cash, which I needed to spend all of that just for cash on the marshrutkas. That, by the way, marshrutka is what we would call like a mini bus, and if you wanted to, they're great. They cover all the gaps in between public transportation and things here. They're not great, they're not comfortable, but they go everywhere. And they're cheap as hell in general. So yeah, you guys saved my ass. Okay, you guys bought about $500 worth of merch here, to be honest with you, in terms of all of this. And I haven't even checked the PayPal yet. I some of you sent money to my PayPal, even though I was like, that was the problem, is I couldn't transfer money from my PayPal. The only thing I could use was my Shopify card. So, and to be honest, I only spent like $50 of that money. I mean, that's all it took. It wasn't like I needed a whole lot of money, and I had the money. I just couldn't access it because I didn't have my cards. So frustrating. So I did get that all resolved now. Obviously, I made it back home safe. And, I have you guys to thank for it. Do they have toilets? You know what? I would like to say that the unit in Henethanoon, Ithalambar, they put me up in one of their own. Do the marshrukas have toilets? No, they do not. But normally they're just very short routes. Like 2 hours is like a maximum length. Although I have in a pinch, when under emergencies, I've taken like 6-hour marshrutka rides, and it was awful, absolutely horrible. Luckily, they will stop and for pee breaks every so often, like 15-minute breaks or something. Yeah, on the bus. Yeah. So, but yeah, these are very small buses. They're not the big long ones with bathrooms and everything. But yeah, so I was able to, travel around. Kenneth, thank you so much. And I will try to stay safe. Thanks a lot. Yes, Lauren, about the size of a hotel airport shuttle. Yes. Yeah, I mean, it was, well, it could have been a little bit cleaner. You could tell that it was a bunch of dudes who were living there, but it was like a 3-bedroom apartment, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't really have anybody staying in here right now." Um and so you know, uh why don't you stay in our apartment? It was really nice. Oh, Shirkan. Yeah, you should. We should do a live stream together. We could do one this weekend. That would be super awesome. Does Ukraine have dedicated express buses? Well, let me just show you before I go. I'll just show you what a marshrutka looks like. Marshrut. So marshrut, it has the word route in it, which means like a route. Okay. Marsh, I think it means like little, so it means like little route, or maybe marshroute means route. Anyway, marshrutka means like little route. So marshrutka bus. And let's just see what we come up with. They look like this. There's all different sizes and colors. In the city, a lot of them are mostly yellow, but not always. They're often privately owned and run, although sometimes they're owned and run by a specific company. They can be anything from that's one in Moscow, but they can be anything from one of these like transit vans to like something like this. They're often a little bit dirty and a little bit shabby. Sometimes they'll be larger, like this with 2 doors. That's about as big as they get. And some cities run entirely on these, without the big regular sized buses at all. But most of them. Oh, by the way, in Henafanoon, and I swear to God, this is gonna be the last thing I talk about, because my power is gonna shut off any moment. But in Henafanoon, okay, remember we're talking about former occupied territory of Ithilien. Okay, did I close it? Yeah. Okay, so right up freaking next to freaking Mordor over here. All right, they had working full-size city electric buses. Okay, like not even marshrutkas. They had marshrutkas too, but I'm talking about like like this. Something, the one with the electrified bus, maybe. The one with the antennas on top that charge by wire as they're driving along, so they don't have to carry such huge batteries, which requires a certain amount of infrastructure, to be honest. And here they're maintaining it in the middle of this recently occupied city. So I have to say that there's no KKHGG, thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Yeah, like a trolley bus. Yeah, exactly. There's no excuse for these American cities with like 300,000 people or whatever with no decent bus system. Okay, if a city of like less than 20,000, a town of less than 20,000 can maintain electric buses and minibuses, a full network of them across the whole city under threat of shelling and missiles and bombs, like, come on, America, you know? Okay. So that's enough from me, guys. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all again on Saturday. Ken, thank you for coming. Cheryl, Lauren, Maggie, KKHGG, thank you very much. Anna, Mr. Squiggle, Real Dave Seaman, of course. Shere Khan, Mitch, so many people. You guys. Belle, thank you all for coming. And I just want to thank you all for your support, for your help. Do all the things, like and subscribe. If you have a little extra cash, feel free to go on here and buy a souvenir from Ukraine. But I just want to say thanks a lot. So, do peremohi. Slava Ukraine, everybody.